Welcome, family, to another video yet again by the African protagonist, your ever reliable news source on Pan-African news and anything that affects Africa, and Africa is us. Now, there are recent developments that have been taking place in the Republic of Chad, which is a Central African nation, just south of Libya. And Chad is a nation that is within the Sahel belt, which has really been affected by terrorism and insurgency in the last decade. Now, what has happened recently is that 21 Chadian soldiers who had been abducted by insurgents were recently released with the help of the Russian military. Now, Chad is one of the nations in the Sahel that has been a very close ally of France and the West. Now, what these developments mean for their relationship with the West is yet to be established, but according to the Minister of Defense, they have termed Russia as a reliable partner, reliable in quotes, meaning that there could be a budding relationship between them and the Russians. So this is something that will be of serious concern to France, which has really been losing a lot of territory in the Sahel. France has been expelled from Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, and since they were expelled, they moved most of their forces to Chad. Now, the thing is, my opinion on the matter, especially concerning the French military being there, is that most of these weapons that we see flooding the Sahel now, and even further down than the Sahel, coming down all the way even to northern Kenya, to Sudan, South Sudan, northern Uganda, and to some extent even the Congo. Most of these weapons, no one knows how they got there, because they definitely did not come through the ports of East Africa. They were not shipped in through planes. Now, the answer is simple. Most of these weapons found their way there after 2011, after Muammar Gaddafi was deposed with the help of NATO. How did this occur? When the French and their NATO allies were instigating uprising against Gaddafi, they flooded Libya with small arms, AK-47s, grenade launchers, all manner of small arms you can imagine. And for a long time, and you can Google this if you want more evidence, but for a long time, Libya has had the highest per capita of weapons. That is the ratio of guns to people in the nation worldwide. For every one Libyan citizen, there were 7 firearms. Libya has a population of 7 million. That means there were 49 million guns in circulation in Libya. You can imagine how many guns those are. And after the collapse of the Gaddafi regime, most of these weapons, if not majority of them, flowed south. The insurgents that overthrew Gaddafi, many of them being Islamic extremists, moved into Algeria, where they fought a war for a long time with the Algerian military between 2011 and 2013 and were expelled. And they went on moving south into the Sahel states of Niger, Mali, all the way down to northern Nigeria, Cameroon. And these are the weapons that have been used by these insurgents to conduct attacks on civilians and military installments in these nations. Now, the leaders of these nations, out of desperation, called in the French, who were their former colonizers, to come and help them fight these insurgents. But somewhere along the way, as in Kiswahili we say, mjinga akirevuka mwerevu yutabani, these nations of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali realized that these same people who armed the insurgents are the same ones coming back to tell us that they are going to help us fight them. And we have been seeing a shift in the recent past of the said nations moving towards Russia, a country that has had very little influence in Africa in the past, a country that is seen as neutral and not having any colonial or imperial agenda. And we need to watch what is happening in the Sahel closely, because even further south, as far as Kenya, it affects us. As I've stated earlier, if you were to do your research and look at where the guns in northern Kenya, in Turkana, the guns that are being used to fight in the North Rift, they didn't come in through the port of Mombasa. They weren't flown in through the airports. They came from these troubled nations. They flowed in from Sudan, and from Sudan they had come from Libya. And tracing these weapons, uh, the current regimes in these nations have decided Russia is the best partner to help them fight these insurgents. And the recent developments in Chad are going to be critical in determining how the entire region, Central Africa, all the way going down, is going to be affected by the fight against insurgency. And when the colonizers were coming to Africa, they had stated that this region, specifically the south of Chad, where it borders the Central African Republic, for anyone who wanted to conquer the whole of Central Africa and in extension Africa, this is the most strategic place to position yourself. And now this is what the French have been doing. They have amassed a lot of forces there. No one knows what benefit they have been bringing to the people because the insurgency is still alive and well. But we will keep, on the African Protagonist podcast, we'll keep you updated. We'll keep you posted. So watch this space. Thank you.